do not want to do this. I'm not with them. Not anymore.
The bullet, take the shot. Midnight's coming, ready or not. The stage is set, the death throws out. Round for round, we all fall. The spinning wheel of death's decay, the hammer fall, the season's strange, eternal. I just wait and see. The curtain falls, it's destiny.
Thought you'd seen the last of me, didn't you?
Take the shot. Midnight's coming, ready or not. The stage is set, the death tolls out. Round for round, we all fall down.
Well, shit.
Let's end this.
The bullet, take the shot. Midnight's coming, ready or not. The stage is set, the death
Don't plan on getting out of this place alive. No one ever does.
we all fall down. Round for round, we all fall down.
Hey everyone, hey chat, and welcome to another developer live stream. And as always, I'm here with Dennis. Hey Dennis.
Hey guys, good to be
How
here.
are you today?
I'm great. Are we prepared? Do you bring your water bottle?
Oh
with
yeah, I
us?
actually do have my water bottle
Good,
here for
good,
this
good.
stream. That's very important for this one. With that being said, we are starting our holiday season. So we want to wish you all very happy holidays already. And what better to do in the holidays than play some Hunt Showdown?
Absolutely.
So we are here to talk about our next update. So why don't we just dive into it and see what's in store for us?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, so as you may have already seen on our social media, our next event is called Post Malone's Murder Circus Encore. It's gonna be a really cool event, and it comes alongside with update 2.6. The event will be running from December 11th to February 9. So you will have about 2 months or 60 days to participate in the event and enjoy all the activities. And as I mentioned, this is gonna be Post Malone's Murder Circus returning.
Yeah, so it's better than ever. So we have a lot of like clowns, chaos, and carnage coming up. So what you expect, obviously, it's a murder circus. It's coming back. It's back in town. So there's a couple of like returning pieces to it, and we'll see like improvements to Ursa Mortis. We see the Shredder. We have a new circus attraction we're going to talk about. And also the update in general comes with a lot of cool new things like the player profile customization, story challenges, and there's also obviously gameplay challenges and more to come. So
Yeah,
exciting
there's
stream.
a lot of awesome things actually. So please stay tuned throughout the hosting because we're gonna be talking about all that cool stuff. And I want to mention it already that we are going to have Twitch drops coming on December 12th, but we also gonna explain it towards the end of the stream how it's gonna exactly work because it's somewhat different than our previous Twitch drops campaigns. And it's a very big announcement as well. Post Malone will be streaming Hunt Showdown on December 19th evening in Europe. So please keep an eye out on that one. We will have some very, very special guests on that stream, so you don't want to miss that. Mark your calendars right now and check out our social channels where we will be announcing all the cool details for this one.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And then obviously we're going to have some more activities coming across the event. So if you've seen from the previous events, we're going to have these kind of like in-between beats and activities. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more.
Exactly, but we are here to talk about the Murder Circus Encore. So why don't we start by diving into the lore a bit? What happened previously and what is happening in the event?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a year, right? So the original Murder Circus, it fell to corruption, and only Giggles survived. So this is where we are at the moment. It's like people have been kind of like going underground. So if you take a look first, next one there.
Yeah, and here's Giggles, of course,
That's
one
nice.
of the favorites of all
Yep.
time.
And so, yeah, the ringmaster vanished as well. So Post Malone vanished, disappeared, and he became the disciple of death. So he has been honing his hunting skills as a legendary hunter and waiting for the circus to return.
And he's definitely cooler.
to get his payback.
Yeah.
So we also have Sunshine as a character. Like she was betrayed by the Fool and joined forces together with Giggles, and they're trying to build a new troop of hunters. So let's see what they're up to as well.
Yeah, and here's Sunshine, of course, the new hunter in the event. One of the new hunters, so
Yes,
to say.
there's a
And
number.
what is happening right now? Then we talked about what happened before the event. So what is going
So
on?
like
right
yeah,
now?
it's been a year, and now the corrupted circus has reappeared in the incursion areas. So in all of the different maps, it's stronger and it's changed. So obviously, like the Disciple of Death and the Sharpshooter, which is a new character we're having, they're like teaming up now and they're looking for ways to kind of end this whole thing now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned already, Sunshine and Giggles forming a troop and recruiting all kinds of hunters
And finish the fight.
to
Yeah.
see what they can do. Yeah. We also have the Strongman.
Yeah, so the Strongman is a new character as well. So he's together with the Sharpshooter, like with Grace Kim and Bradley is the name of a Strongman. Like they are joining conflict on different groups, trying to kind of like see how they can influence it. But it's very interesting. We can back to those characters in a bit, and we talk about the troops and the trades as well.
Yeah, and then of course we do have Krampus.
Yeah, like he's like the kind of the stowaway parasite, like causing mischief in the background. So he will be playing an important role when we talk about the story challenges.
Exactly. And here is our Strongman.
Yeah,
so you guys
very
can
cool,
see.
very cool. Fits very much into the theme. I love him.
We already seen a lot of positive feedback about this character in some of our trailers. And just to recap some of the key figures coming this event.
What I like about is, especially when I take a look at the Disciple of Death, like it's a darker look, it's grittier, and it's something that if you take a look at some of the other cosmetics down the line, like stuff feels a bit grittier, feels a bit more, bit less colorful, a bit more grounded, I would say. So I think it's a very, very nice touch as well to the event.
Yeah, I really love all the key cast in this event, and it's gonna be very fun to see them around in the bayou and the circus, of course, and in the mountains too.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, everywhere you hunt. But now we talked about the lore, so why don't we talk about how the progression and the rewards will work in this event?
Yeah, so something that we talked about in the last event was that we changed the strategy a little bit, right? So the pledge marks, they remain in the game. You might already see this then as you boot up once we're live, that whatever hunter you might have had from the Web of the Emperors event that had some pledge marks on them, they're still on them. So nothing goes away, you kind of keep them. And the same is true for like all of the other pieces around it. So that's an interesting thing because it gives you a bit of a head start already. So if you're in the last days of the event, you just want to like save some pledge marks here and there, it's a good opportunity to give you a head start right away on hunters.
And of course, we do have the Rework Central Circus compound, which we are going to be talking about in more details as well.
Yeah, so basically, like this is the place where this is all going down, right? It's a corrupted circus. So obviously, it's like the first time we see the circus on the Zal, and in addition to that, like we've kind of changed a bit on the layouts. All the cool things are in there. Like we mentioned, the Shredder returning, Oza Mortis obviously guarding it. So lots of central pieces there to explore and engage with.
Yeah, and of course, we have a brand new Battle Pass, this time with over 50 rewards. And why don't we just take a look at some of those?
Have a look at some of these
this is
things.
what we have. So first, we have some of the hunters. So the
So the strongman we've seen already, like he's one of them. Really cool. Again, the context will be clear when we talk about the troops. We have the Disciple of Death. So like this is basically what the Ringmaster became now after events of the first Murder Circus. And then the Sharpshooter, also quite interesting when we take a look at the troops later.
Yeah.
So really cool.
Yeah, so these are the main hunters in the Battle Pass, but we of course have a lot of weapons as well. First of all, we have the Elephant's Promise, which is a Frontier 73 skin family.
Yeah, they're
So
really cool. I really like the little carvings there, like the pronounced elephant shape. And honestly, I think we didn't have enough blue guns in the game. So I'm really happy actually we're kind of like doing that. This goes very well, for example, one of the katana skins.
Do you want to know a fun fact, Dennis?
Go for it.
The elephant is my favorite animal, so
Perfect. Perfect.
there's a lot of cool skins for me in this.
I guess I know what you will be picking then.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have a throwing axe, which is called the Horseman's Hand.
That's also really, really cool. I like it.
Yeah, then we have Leona's Verdict. It's a railroad hammer. You may have seen it on our Strongman already.
Yeah, Strongman's been carrying it, like kind of fitting as well.
Then we have another family of skins called Burnt Blood for the Packs.
Yeah, so you have that on the regular as well, and on the True Shot, etc. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, we also have many skins for the Drilling family, and they are called Celestial Scream.
Yeah, really good stuff. I
Looking
like using that gun.
Yeah, me too. It's really beautiful as well. Then we have Archangel for the Springfield family.
Yeah, so this is something you might recognize because like the marksman version has been something we've released like a long time ago. So we're kind of completing like the variants here, adding more of them as well. So like more Archangels is a good thing.
Sounds great. We do have an explosive one, a frag bomb with the snake motif coming, Mortal Coil.
Yeah, there's a couple of really cool snake motifs like in some of the next ones or so we're gonna see, and it ties in nicely to for example the crack silencer we had in the first Murder Circus. So good stuff there.
Yeah, now you can make whole snake loadouts.
Get the proper set.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have a duster called the Bronze Horn.
I'll be using that one.
Can't wait to spin it around, as I always do with our white dusters. Then we have a Spectre family of skins, Out the Ember. So it's a bit charcoal.
I like this one a lot because it really feels like fitting very well if you have like one of those more like what we used to call it the tier 3 hunters, like the more like gritty, darker uniformed ones. So I think that's really, really nice.
Really awesome. And we have the 1865 carbine silencer skin called Sinister Salvation.
Yeah, that one goes again hand in hand with the frag bomb we saw earlier, for example.
We also have something healing, the Devil's Salve first aid kit.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yep. And we have a Scottfield Diamondback Darling as well.
Also, this one, great companion again for the other snakeskin themed ones that we've seen before. And the crack silence, obviously, from before.
Definitely. And we do have a flare pistol, which is very special as well, called Hell's Hiss.
Yeah, the rattlesnake grip. I mean, this is so cool. I've been using this like a little, and we did like some playtests, etc. This is really, really nice. I love this gun.
And I just want to mention that we, of course, have some animations in the update, like weapon animation, plus some other cool stuff you can unlock in the Battle Pass too. So.
Yeah, I think you might have seen a few of those, for example, in the gameplay video that we released the other day. So,
I
want to spot a few of them here and there.
Then we have a Lebel skin called Shot in the Dark.
I like the bullets attached to it there as well.
Then going back to the snake theme, we have the Serpent Smile, which is a bear trap.
Yeah, this one is so gruesome. You just saw it again, like in the cinematic video we showed in the beginning, where Disciple of Death is kind of like using it to behead one of the other hunters. I really, really like this one. It looks a bit more shiny here in this shot than it is actually in the world. Like it has a bit more green hue, etc. So I think it's a nice good balance. Like it's not too easy to see, but also not too hard to spot. So it works really, really well as a skin for it.
Yeah, and it looks super awesome, to be honest. I can't wait to step on all of these in the update.
Yeah, this is what my teammates always say as well.
And last but not least, we have the Third Strike Slate skin.
Yeah, this one is really cool because it kind of fits into like this more gilded visual theme we had around the Statesman in the past, etc. So, yeah, I think like who doesn't like golden guns, right?
Always, they are the best. And of course, as always, we have a bunch of charms. We also have the +1 charm at the very end of the event with the free progression. Just write it in Reddit if you manage to spot all of them.
Yeah, let's see if you can find them all on that.
Yeah, there's quite a lot there. So again, I just wanted to highlight that there's more stuff in the Battle Pass too, like blood bonds and other things you may have
more
expected.
than 50 things.
We also may have something to do with our player profile customization.
That's going to be a big one in a moment, yeah.
So yeah, this is the highlight of our Battle Pass. I hope you enjoyed it. But I talked about new stuff coming, so let's talk about one of our new features in this event, the story challenges.
Yeah, so like the story challenges is a completely new system for us to kind of like bring you additional really cool ways to experience Hans' lore, right? Like in the past, like you guys been asking like, oh, what happened to lore? We want to have more of the lore again. This is one way for us to kind of like tell little stories, tell like little episodes around specific hunters, for example, or like specific pieces that are important, and gives you like a new way of experience that just in an interesting way. It's based around like challenges, so I mean you know the weekly challenges and like what you need to do, etc. However, these story challenges, they're a bit more thematically fitting to whatever like the story is all about. So besides the chapters that you have, which the story challenges are divided into, you have then different tasks to complete, and then there's also obviously cool rewards at the end of those chapters that you can then unlock that way. So in general, we have that available in the updated challenges screen, so you can kind of go there, which ones are available, and it's a system that we want to build up upon. Like, so there's going to be a few which we'll talk about in a moment that we will launch with, and there's more down the line for you guys to experience.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about what we have in this update for the story challenges. So first we have On the Winds of Midwinter.
Yeah, this is like the premium time-limited story challenge. It's something which is very much fitting to the season now. And we basically have a chilling tale where Krampus draws near, and if you hear the bells, it is already too late. Yeah. So interesting story around a Krampus character. And the key rewards obviously is Krampus as a hunter. And he comes along with his favorite terminus, the hoof and horn. And there is also a charm, which is a glamorous carol that you can unlock. Each of those are being part of a chapter. And basically, like once you then get the premium time-limited story challenge, you can then complete it in your own leisure.
I really love how you read that out. So I think I'm gonna get it as a soundbite and just listen to it over the winter period.
And then obviously alongside that one, we also have player profile items, hunt dollars, XP, instances of certain weapons, etc. So there's like tons more of rewards that you can also get just for the minimal, like the micro steps within each of the chapters. But at the end of the chapters, that's when like the cosmetic rewards are waiting for you.
But we have an acquired taste, which is our free and permanent story.
So this is something which is super interesting for us. Is so we're going both extremes. We're going to start with like the premium one, and we also have a free one in there because we want to see how you guys in general engage with this, like what you like, what you don't like about them. So this is also a bit of an experimentation for us to kind of see how you like this new feature and how we kind of shape it in the future. This one is about a hunter, Tennessee Morgan. I love that name. He's like attempting to stop a robbery, and it reveals a bit of a far darker piece alongside. So I'm not going to spoil anything because that's the part of why you want to play this. So the key rewards here again is Tennessee Morgan, and there's like 3 versions of them. So this is one way for us to kind of bring back again more of the hunters that you've kind of missed dearly since the last year's relaunch. And we've brought a few of them back already, for example, like to unlock them by completing the first version, the rookie version, to be on level 50, to then unlock the survivor, etc. Now this is a new way for us to bring some more back, in this case as part of a story challenge. So you can unlock all 3 versions of Tennessee Morgan that way. And obviously, again, there's also player profile pieces, etc. around it. So you get a lot of cool little things, and it's all for free. So you can kind of choose this from the challenge menu and engage with it. And it makes it very, very interesting, just like for some little grind goals alongside.
And of course, on screen, meanwhile, we can see the 2 hunters side by side as well.
Yeah.
Looking really cool. And we prepared a video just to give you an overview how the story challenges exactly works and how you access it from the menu. So why don't we take a look at that?
So you can see here, it's like you access this whole thing through the weekly challenges on the challenge system channel. You can kind of move between these on the top. So you have the story challenges, its own little tab there. As you can see here, like you have the free one with an acquired taste, and then you have the other one there as a separate one. So it's really, really cool. And store pieces again. Don't look at it, don't read it yet. You want to experience it yourself later. But as you can kind of see, like you can go through the different rewards there, see the different chapters, etc. So it has its own little menu structure, and the rewards are laid out there for you. Again, some of them just being hunt dollars, instances of stuff, and then like the cosmetics kind of mixed in between.
Yeah, I think it's a really great addition because you can play the game, of course, but also immerse yourself in the story and unlock something progressive throughout the game.
So and you can see in the menu, like you can keep a track of both the regular challenges and story challenges there, so you can kind of tap between them as well. And it's something that, like in game, also as we talk about some other pieces later, you kind of see is also improved.
Oh, you can see it here.
Yeah, you can actually see it here. Let's talk about it right now. So even here, like on our map screen, which we had reworked, we're going to talk a bit more about that one in a moment. You can also toggle between like the story challenges and your weekly challenges, etc. Just keep an overview of what currently is active and what you're chasing.
Yeah, so that is the new story challenges. We are excited to hear your feedback about this as well. Please let us know how you feel about it and what Dennis said. We are really trying this new thing out, and I think it's going to be great. But we have a lot more coming in Murder Circus. Something that's stronger and faster and meaner than ever before. Ursa Mortis returning.
All right, so Ursa Mortis, for those of you who might not remember, is the two-headed corrupted circus act. So this is like a two-headed bear monstrosity that it's been guarding the Murder Circus and continues guarding the Murder Circus. And kind of did some changes to it, iterated a little bit on it. And one of the things, obviously, is like just make it a bit more aggressive and mobile. It's a bit tougher. It does a bit more damage. You guys have come up with all the different patterns how to easily kill it the last time. So we're gonna like throw a bit of a wrench in there and kind of mix the rule set up a little bit. So for you to figure out how to defeat it this time in the best way. There's a hint. Maybe bear traps isn't the best way anymore. And one of the big cool improvements is that it can actually break through circus fences now while chasing players. So if you approach the Murder Circus and you make a lot of noise, you might be greeted by Ursa Mortis just barging through the outer tent walls and opening new paths. And this is the really interesting part, because depending on what your plan is at the Murder Circus afterwards, like you might have these additional paths open. So you want to make sure that the way you defeat Ursa Mortis is in line with what you want. Like, do you want fewer ways in? Then you maybe kill her, kill him before they actually barge through the walls. But if you don't care, or if you actually like the dynamics around it, then well, maybe just provoke to make even more chaos there and destroy more walls. So it's really up to you, but it's a nice little dynamic element we're adding. It cannot be knocked over by explosives anymore, so we want you to kind of like avoid the charge a little bit better. It's like some really cool mechanics of Ursa Mortis, like barging through, etc. So we didn't want to make it too easy for you to kind of like stun lock it and then finish it off. So a bit more interaction is needed now. I mentioned before, like it's a bit tougher as well, and does a bit more damage. And interesting twist, and you'll see that in the video we're going to show in a moment. The roar attack can also trigger nearby traps. So speaking of the traps and the circus location, I mean, you guys might remember that the circus was quite a bit of a minefield, right? Like there were lots of traps around. It was very easy to even place bear traps under the rock at the center ring, etc. It led to quite a bit of frustration because you kind of really had to be tiptoeing through that one to not like accidentally run into like a triple stack of bear traps. So we have reworked these locations so you can't place them as easily anymore. They're more obvious. Obviously, people will still find nice ways, and even if they're playing in the open, my teammates would still run into them all the time. However, now that Ursa also can trigger these traps, you want to be extra careful with trap placements around this area, because alert trip mine and like a barrel and then Ursa warring, it might have some consequences on your health.
Yeah, it can lead to some big accidents. So why don't we actually take a look at it. See what could happen when Ursa is there.
So you can see here, like the fight, Ursa barging through the walls already. Now you're trying to take some refuge, move out. So in this case here, like, yep, there goes that combo.
Yeah.
Or this
that's
one
a
here.
Deadlier trap. Oh.
Yeah, bam. So in general, like this is so cool, like seeing them just like barge through these tent walls, leaving these open gaps, and just it's a lot more dynamic. I really enjoy it. It's basically an idea we've been even kicking around for the first Murder Circus. Unfortunately, we couldn't really get to it back then, but something we're really, really happy that we could revisit and kind of bring it into the Encore.
I cannot wait all the clips happening on Twitch and on YouTube with all the funny things that happen to players. But Ursa is not the only thing that is seeing a rework in this update.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a couple of other things coming back. For example, the Shredder. And I know, like, we somewhat dropped the ball a little bit on the Shredder in the first event, right? At first, it was a bit too powerful, then it was too costly. It took quite some time until we figured out a balance for it. And we kind of went into the last event with this trying to be like a really cool signature key element, but like finding the balance in a game which requires this like delicate balancing as like Showdown does. It was a hard time. So the good thing is now we had a bit more time. We could spend more time on the Shredder and kind of reinvented it a little bit, revisited it, and made it like the best Shredder it can be. So it is still, by definition, the saw blade launcher, and you can only find it in the circus compounds. However, we looked at the bounce mechanic, and in the first version we had these runes etched on the blades, and it was kind of like the idea of like they would kind of home in on hunters after bouncing, so make it it a bit easier for you to kill like hunters, curve them around corners, but it creates also a lot of frustration. And so now they still bounce, and that's all cool, but you need to kind of do the math yourself a little bit how you want them to bounce. So it requires more skill. Doesn't become like an easy home thing anymore. And also the blades, and it's more of a quality of life adjustment. Like the blades no longer pierce directly through hunters and monsters. While it was super visceral, super cool to watch, the problem was afterwards the blades were usually gone anyways for you, right? So by making them behave a little bit more like other blades, like as they dismember like that grunt or like strike down that player, at least they get stuck in the flash now, and that means it's much easier to retrieve them on the way. So if you just move around the world and you just want to kill that armored along the way, you don't have to worry about finding that blade like 20 meters away in a tree somewhere. So obviously, as we know, there might be traits that can help with that. Talk about that later. But in general, it made the whole thing a bit more weird to use, and we think this new improved version feels just a lot nicer and elegant.
Yeah, and we also changed something about the cycling of the weapon.
Yeah, so this was one of the points of feedback we had, that the weapon felt a bit too spammy in general, right? So what we do now is that we kind of require you to cycle, like to pull the lever to charge it back after each shot, and that obviously significantly lowers the rate of fire. It's still faster than a crossbow, faster than a bow and arrow, etc. Like so for weapons in the similar class, like the mechanical primitive class. However, it's much lower than what we had before. Now the interesting part is that also these blades they start spinning down. So as you charge, you have like 30 seconds of a full spin, and then as it nears the end of that one, you see some sparks on it. It's wobbly, the audio becomes inconsistent, like the whole thing kind of loses its momentum, and then either you need to kind of spin it back up again, or, well, you have to accept that like this thing is empty and you will not be able to fire it until you have spun it up again. So interesting also is that the blades actually continue spinning on the back. So if you select a different weapon or if you do melee attack or so, we keep track of this now. So it's like a new technology we've kind of had into weapon system that we can keep a track of stats a little bit better. So we can have these persistent effects, which is really cool. And yeah, basically, yeah, you get like these little like follow-up shots. So it's kind of like the same thing I just mentioned. And that's the big thing, no frag blades. So we basically limit this thing exactly to its core role. This is the saw blade launcher, and it should be saw blades it's launching and not explosives and not proximity explosives. So cutting back also on the spam from that angle, like you want this thing to matter. And this is lethal still. The blades, they cut through stuff right easily. So if you get hit in like the lower torso, upper torso area as a hunter, like within, I think, 35 meters or so, that thing will eviscerate you. Like you could definitely go down with that. So really cool, very powerful, but you have to be a bit more careful how you use it right now.
And of course, we also prepared a video to showcase all these awesome changes to the shredder. So let's take a look at the Rework shredder in action as well.
As you can see here, like blade's not spinning in the beginning, then you kind of try fire first, spin it up, or press the X button to do it manually. You can do it at any point. But we'll do it between shots. You have these 6 blades inside, loaded up. And if you were to, for example, like put it on the back, etc., it still counts down the 30 seconds until it stops spinning, so giving you enough time. Like this makes the whole weapon less of an ambush weapon, right? Because you might reveal your position, not so much from the sound of the spinning blades. That's actually not heard that far out, but you cranking that lever, that's what actually gives away your position. And you will have to do it at one point if you want to be ready to fire at any moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how he will use this. Obviously, this is going to be a much more of an assault crossbow type of gameplay. You want to be up front and not so much sitting in bushes, just because the sound is a counterpart to it.
And now that we talked about both Ursa and the shredder that you can find in the new event location, the circus, let's see what we changed this time around with the circus compound.
So yeah, the circus is still basically what it was in the last event. It's a roaming circus compound. So there's different locations where it can appear, and it's going to pick one of those randomly every time you go into the game. So there will be a circus in every mission you play, but it might be at different locations. So all of the cool things are centered around that location. So this is like packed with sealed rewards. You find the shredder there exclusively. You have the tarot cards also there. So this is your way of getting new tarot cards, because as we mentioned in the beginning, they stay in the game. What changes is like how you can get stuff. So when we talked about the shredder, for example, just a second ago, even the shredder is going to stay in the game. So you might want to stock up on shredders because you don't know when you might be able to get new ones. Obviously, there will be more shredders in the future as well. However, like that's an interesting part for us to play with, like when it comes to scarce weapons, when it comes to like event traits, the tarot cards, etc. Is like that the sources might change, and in this case, the circus is the location to source all of that one. So yeah, go visit it. And then we also obviously have like the guardians of the circus. We talked about Ursa Mortis, which is like the gatekeeper. You can sneak around the circus, not alerting Ursa if you're careful, but it is tough. So for the most part, you need to be ready for a fight. But we also have obviously a couple of our circus grunts back. They're giggling and laughing around their one. So yeah, be careful around that area.
And of course, you have a bunch of old attractions, but we also have some new attraction this time around.
Oh yeah, so all the old ones are returning. So for example, we have the fortune teller machine, we have the shooting gallery with all the balloons you can harvest for event points. We even have like a couple of new ones in there where you can kind of, like I don't know what the English name is, like but the little boards with a drawing of a person, you can replace the face if you stand behind it, right? Like a
photo booth.
Yeah, like something like that. So we have like a couple of opportunities like that. This is all just for fun, so you can explore the place. But we have one really cool new like attraction as well, which is the High Striker. I'm going to talk about it in a moment.
Yeah, but now why don't we take a look at the circus itself, because we prepared a very nice video for it too.
As you can see it here, the circus looming on the distance. So yeah, for those of you who've been there last year, you recognize, you remember the place. However, the place has changed a little bit. We still have an outer circle ring with the tent walls, and then we have the inner central tent, and all the attractions ring-wise are located around it. But we've kind of done some adjustments to some of the layout pieces. For example, you now look at the dock kennel, right? It's actually inside the compound now, right next to the tent, no longer on the outside. So we kind of mix things up a little bit here. You can see like the arrangement of some of the booths is different, and you will notice, for example, when it comes to the event trades and the troops, etc., that things have changed. But again, we talk about it in a second, a bit more in detail.
And of course, the circus is the first time on the Saal as well.
Yeah. So very curious to hear guys' feedback on the locations picked where you can find it this time around. Then here you can already see a little bit of the High Striker machine. So it's like a test of strength booth, and we break down the mechanics in a moment.
The circus is looking super cool as always, and there's Ursa.
Yeah, so it's the place you're familiar with, but it's still corrupted and kind of changed. So yeah, even for the veterans, there's going to be some new stuff to explore.
Yeah, and since we talked about the central location of the circus, why don't we dive into the traits and troops?
Yes,
where you can actually find those.
So this is something that we've kind of spent a lot of thinking about. Like, so we over the year moved a little bit away from our previous event structure of pacts and troops, like the exclusive picks, and we took a bit of a break from that. And our approach for the Murder Circus this time around is still continuing with that one. So we've changed and kind of rethought about what the troops mean, and what we've come up with is that we wanted to add 2 additional troops, not take any of them away. So we're just adding more variety, but we don't want to make the players choose so much between them. So basically, each of the troops are now sealed, which means you use your pledge marks to get to the trait of the troop, but you can combine them at will. So if it's important for you to get, for example, like Blade Mancer, I can all reveal because we talk about it in a second, then you can just purchase that for pledge marks directly there. Also, all of these are themed. So the traits and the troops still they make thematic connection. They still make sense. We talked about, for example, the sharpshooter. We talked about the strongman. And so there's going to be a couple of new troops themed around that. And the interesting part is also that we have all of them at a central location now. So where before you would be able to kind of like go across the circus, and like one of the booths had maybe the ringmaster like in the center, for example, or you had the mystique one where you can get like the fortune teller machine, and where you get like the dark side boost envelopes. This has changed now. All of them are at the center now, all 5 of them, and they're exclusively found at the center. So you no longer find them also at supply points. So one more reason to go to the circus as a central location, because this is where you stock up on them. And obviously, it's a choice for you, like how many of them do you want, in which combination. And we're going to talk about which they are in a second.
Yeah, so of course on the screen meanwhile we could see the center location you are talking about. But yeah, let's see what the actual troops and traits are, starting with the Ringmaster troop.
So the Ringmaster is coming back, and also Corpse Seer is coming back. We've been kind of using that trait a little bit, so starting low here now. But Corpse Seer is a really, really powerful trait. It gives you like a dark side boost second when you loot the downed hunters. So it's a cool way for you to follow up in a fight, for example, being able to just like quickly loot the first guy you down and understand maybe where the others are positioned. Or in general, like give you like something for the next fight. We also have as a second one the Knife Thrower. So this one is a returning trait, Blademancer, by the new troop. You will understand the reason for that in a moment. Blademancer has gone through a couple of iterations already. We've kind of reused it a little bit already in one of the events early in the year. And it is still basically the same version of that. So you don't have the bonuses that you had during the last Murder Circus, which is you could pull out those blades and then do damage, and it was a good way for you to finish off hunters. Like, it's more of the quality of life changes that the latest iteration of it had. So it's great for retrieving ammunition. It's very convenient. It makes it a pleasure to use like the bow and arrow or like throwing a spear, because the moment you miss it a little bit, you can easily retrieve your stuff unless you really throw down a cliff. So very good quality of life one, and we're all happy that it's back.
Then we have the Trick Shooter troop with Crackshot trait.
Yeah, so the Trick Shooter is a returning one. However, it also has a returning trait, but the trait is different. So we went back to the drawing board for Crackshot, which we've used before, and this time around, what we tried out is we want to give Ironside weapons a bit of an advantage here. So if you want to use them a bit more at range, a bit more with precision, or if you're struggling in general to land your shots like I do, then this is actually a good quality of life change, because if you choose it, you will not only get a reduced sway when you look down ADS, you also have a slightly increased zoom. I think it's around like 20-ish% or so. That your zoom is boosted. However, there's obviously a drawback to it as well. So you might want to be careful in close quarters, because that extra zoom might be a disadvantage. So maybe it comes down to how you pair it up with your secondary weapons. But for those interested in it, it gives you a nice way. And it works both for rifles as well as pistols with a stock. So it might also be a great option, for example, if you run a shotgun main and then you might have that pistol stock weapon with just a bit more zoom on it, a bit more reliable to use over distance.
And we, of course, have the brand new troops and traits as well.
Yeah,
the Strongman.
The Strongman. Obviously, you can play that with any hunter, but we strongly recommend using the Strongman for that. And Strongman comes with a trait called Bruiser. In this case, this is a quality of life improvement for anyone who's running a melee a lot. And we're trying to convey like the strength and the toughness of the Strongman that way. We already have Berserker as a strength adding trait, so we didn't feel that was the right angle to do the same thing here. But you have reduced melee stamina, so you can usually get like, I think it's like 25-ish or 20-ish% as well of stamina extra until you run out. So depending on the weapon you use and depending on the regular consumption, something you have to kind of like figure out for yourself, of course, you might get that extra strike in, and just makes the whole thing a bit more easier to use. And in addition to that, and that's why it's interesting, not only for those of you who prefer close quarter combat, you also have a heavy aim punch resistance. So I mean, all of you guys can probably talk about stories where like you got aim punch and you threw the dynamite against the wall, or you burned yourself in the concertina bomb, or whatever else happened, and it's fine, happened to all of us. Or like in that long range fight, like you get aim punch at the last second, you miss that shot, so you're a bit more resistant to that. There's obviously going to be some motion in there, but you'll have a much easier time keeping your aim under control when you get hit. So the Strongman has a kind of multiple benefits, the melee benefit and that one as well.
And last but not least, we have the Mystic troop, which is also brand new with the Communion.
Yeah, the Mystic troop is a returning troop, but Communion is a new trait. So basically, what we wanted to look into is the gameplay for support players. You know, sometimes you just have that one guy in the team who doesn't have any hits, but at one point at least, what you can get some med charges from them, etc., if they're still alive. Or maybe you're lucky and they actually pick you up and you can continue to fight. Again, we've all have a friend like that, and that's fine. Now we can make them a bit more useful as well. For our team effort, we can actually give them Communion or ask them to pick Communion. And what it does is basically in Darkside, they can trade 15 hit points, like 15 health that they have, and give you 75 forward. So obviously it's a risky move in mid-combat because you might get downed and losing those 15, but it's only a short temporary thing because it regens right back up, and therefore on its own a single action is quite nice. So it gives you a lot of power in a team that can coordinate well, or if you have again a support player as part of it who really cherishes like supporting his teammates with that, they can keep everybody in the fight. Again, with a drawback, but something which is really nice. And obviously you can do this multiple times, like so if you want, and then that obviously has the risk at one point you might then lose more than like a chunk worth of health, and you need to top it up yourself, or you need to run a like a regeneration shot or whatever. Again, part of the sandbox rule set, lots of options you have in there, and yeah, I think it's quite nice for that one. So support players might appreciate this.
Yeah, you guys gonna see this a lot on the gameplay streams because I am that friend that doesn't hit any shots. So we definitely gonna see a lot of communion on our gameplay streams too. But let's talk about something we already showed a bit, and you already mentioned it, the brand new attraction this time around, the High Striker booth.
Yeah, so the High Striker booth is really cool because it feels so fitting to the Murder Circus. It's a test of strength, and depending on the melee attacks you do at that machine, you will get event points for it. And so the rewards are kind of based on how much damage you do, so you can already in your math kind of think, oh, what could be the maximum to get? Because there's quite a lot of points to be harvested here. Like, so you can get from a High Striker, you can get up to I think 40 event points. That's quite a substantial amount. However, you might find multiple ones across the map, like so similar to that fortune teller that you can also sometimes find at supply points. The High Striker also can show up at those, not only at the circus directly. However, the progress of the High Strikers are shared across the mission. So if you've already made like a high score on one of them, you can only ever beat that high score. You cannot get the same again from another one. They all know what each other has been doing, so you can only get one high score across the mission. But it also prevents you from having to always maybe go back to the circus to find another one, and maybe you got some really cool new weapon or found something in the world that might give you more damage, and you try it again.
Yeah, so why don't we just take a look at
this,
let's
go.
How to interact with the booth itself.
You can see here, like, so yeah, punching it doesn't do much there. Not even the first one. There we go, though. Heavy punch, though, is already a little bit more. So, like, this has a little ladder, like, goes up to like 100. And this is not 100 points, but this is just like the percentage. And then, obviously, if you beat the top score, you get like a little bell. And then you get the maximum payout. If you only ever beat what you have before by a little margin, you get now the difference to the next one. So in total, multiple interactions can still add up to 40 event points you can harvest from that. And this is a great way if you've gone prepared, like to kind of like go directly on a spending spree at the circus, besides obviously picking up all the balloons and defeating all the mortars.
And of course, in this video, we didn't want to reveal what is the best option here. So we're just...
I think everybody is clueless what that could be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wonder, what is the strongman weapon again? I don't know. But yeah, that is for the circus part of the stream. So let's leave the circus a bit and dive into update 2.6 part of the update as well, starting with something completely new, the player profile customization feature.
Yeah, this is something I'm really super excited about talking about. So besides the Murder Circus, we also have obviously a couple of additional features that we're rolling out with update 2.6, and the player profile is one of the really amazing new ones because it just opens up a new way of possibilities for you to express yourself. So think of it as a profile that you can customize. You can put achievements for that you kind of completed for yourself, like being good at a certain weapon or doing certain actions, and kind of like show them off now. And we have like avatars, badges, there's stat trackers, titles, and frames. So you can kind of really build up the one that represents you the most. And there's ways of obviously to see them. So we have them visible on the dev screen, so you can kind of see the card of your killer if you want to see it in the details. You also have it in the last mission details, and teammates in the lobby can show it. And you will also automatically have it on screen as you enter a match. So as the matchmaking completes, before you start loading in, you see from everybody in the lobby, their cards right next to each other. So it's really cool. It's almost like you kind of like private hunter business cards to kind of show what type of hunter you are, depending what's important for you. So they're like fully customizable, and you can use the Rework career tab in the menu to kind of build your own there.
So yeah, let's see what's on these profiles? What can be on them exactly?
Yeah, so the profiles are made up of an avatar, so that's like the background image. That can be hunters, monsters, themed images. We also have up to 3 badges that you can show. So this is like about weapon mastery, for example. If you're really good with the bow, if you're really good with like throwing axes, etc., you can show off for that. We also have 3 stat trackers that you can choose. So that can be, for example, the kills you've been doing or total bounty you've earned, certain specific weapon stats, things like, for example, your furthest kill or the amount of headshots you've been doing. So there's a plenty of different stats to pick from, again, whichever fits most, and you can choose up to 3 of those. And then you also have a custom title that you could put in. So it gives you basically like the chance to kind of like express yourself like you're the good hunter, the bad hunter, the ugly hunter. Like there's like different ones there. The survivor, others. Some of those you get from certain special like gameplay progression beats. Some of them you can purchase, but in some of them you also might be able to get like event specific. For example, in the battle pass for the Murder Circus, there is one title which is the Ringmaster, as an example. And so yeah, most of these awards I just mentioned already, like they're earned through gameplay. This is progression events. It's the best way for expressing yourself, is kind of show of what you've been able to do. So if you can just purchase everything, it would be kind of meaningless. So you want to also show off that you earned those and you actually are a true marksman, or you're good with a particular shotgun or whatever weapon you really crave.
Yeah, let's take a look at a few examples where you can see some of them.
Yeah, so these 3 examples, there's a bit of overlap between them, obviously like just for presentation purposes, but you can see already like there's like custom frames for them. Like the middle one, for example, I think is a frame from the progression of having completed certain prestiges. You can see the background. I can already spoil. In order to get the beetle background, you need to do 10 kills with the beetle. So happy grinding on that one. You can also see, like, for example, that beetle person, if you just take them a bit more in detail. So obviously they seem to be liking playing with beetles. They like traps. There's a trap on that. There's a bow and arrow in there. Also ticks the box. Throwing axe. Also ticks the box. He has a title, like the scout type of thing, and then he is very proud of his solo kills, of his headshots, and the furthest kill distance. So probably it's also like maybe using a sniper. So this might be the business card of a solo hunter that is very, very much about like stealthy gameplay, just uses the beetles and like sniping, which could maybe be me. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking you. That must be you.
And then in addition to that, if you take a look at the other ones, you see, for example, the middle one being very much engaged with the Murder Circus event. So he has the Ringmaster, pistols. That's one of the unlockables you have in there. It shows the progress of the circus event. So they have completed like the 10 levels of the circus. It's a gold one. As you can also see, the bow and arrow on the left one, for example, like it's kind of like metallic. That's the base version, just one rank there. They kind change and transform as you do these levels. So it's not just about unlocking just a badge, but it's also kind of showcasing the quality of how far you've progressed, and that makes it really interesting as well. And then you might see like some overlap in the stats they've been choosing. So they also like to kind of show their solo kills off, but they also pride themselves with the monster kills and then how many kills with marksman scopes they've, for example, been doing. So again, it's a very personal way for you to express yourself and kind of like give yourself like that handout in terms of like, this is who I am. And especially maybe for playing with random hunters, it's quite nice to kind of see what they probably will have in store for you when you play together.
Yeah, and let's talk about the progression and how do you exactly earn these.
Yeah, so in total we have 300 unlockable items at launch. So keep in mind, this is a new system and we start feeding that system, but the system will also not be fully fledged out, right? There's still going to be a couple of avatars, for example, for hunters that maybe your favorite hunter but might not be represented yet. Rest assured, there's going to be more and more of those being added, but we have already like 300 unlockable items that you can kind of choose from and combine, and more coming in the future. So the more premium options are usually focused around the avatars, maybe some of the weapon stat trackers and the titles. But like we also have like the badges, the frames, and the most titles in general, and they're all progression based. So if you want to show off, then you need to put in the work and actually use these weapons, this gear, etc. And some content is also tied to events and story challenges. I meant that earlier, for example, with the Ringmaster title that's coming as part of the Battle Pass progression. And some of the story challenges we talked about earlier also might come with like specific pieces for that one as well.
And why don't we take a look at how to equip these and how the players exactly find them in the menus as well.
So as you can see here, like if you go to the career tab and then move on to a player profile, you can go through different categories. You can see how you unlock them, like how you acquire them. Are they gated by blood bonds? Are they gated by progression? Which ones are currently available? And I can kind of build this up in a nice way again, with the badges, the frames, the titles, the 3 different like stat trackers I have in there. So it's quite a lot of customization you could put in there, and it's going to be very interesting to see how people are going to use that.
I'm really excited to also see yours, of course, and all the players' trackers too, and their profiles, of course.
Yeah. There's even one in there you can see as you scroll that costs $1 million. So if you're a millionaire, then, well, you can show off. You might not be a millionaire afterwards unless you have multiple of those. But yeah, it's a nice little like money sink in a way as well. Like, so if you wonder what to do with all that money you're sitting on, there's one opportunity right there. Yeah, it's some really good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool options, but let's talk about what we are exactly tracking and how we are starting fresh with this.
Yeah, so most of the unlocks, they do not retroactively count the old progress. So this is something that we were looking into if this is a feasible options for us, and like just the way the data works. I think you can already show like the subpoints there. Like how the data management works. It's not always possible. So only some of the stats really make sense to continue to be tracked. Like we still do that, for example, for like some of the pre 2.6 statistics, like the monsters killed or your prestige level, etc. So those you still have. However, like for the most of them, they only count when you actually start unlocking them. So if there's a weapon stat tracker that you've unlocked, it will start counting from 0 from that point on, and then you make progress, which is actually quite nice because it gives everybody like a fresh start, and everybody has like a plain field. It would be kind of a shame if everybody would unlock 90% of all the cool content. So I think it's a way for you to also like kind of like appreciate that and have a bit of a healthy competition, like who gets like to the gold level of a particular weapon first between you and your friends. So yeah, in general, for the most part, expect stuff to start from 0, but there's going to be a few exceptions to that.
And of course, as I mentioned, I cannot wait to see the community's profiles. And for this, we are actually launching a little campaign. So make sure to send your profiles in with the hashtag #huntprofile on social media. So on Facebook, X, Instagram, wherever you would like. Share it in the stories. Just make sure to tag us. And during the event, we will have a bunch of rewards for this. So giveaways, items, and some things I cannot share that you will be able to win. It will run throughout the whole event. So please make sure to share your profiles, and of course keep an eye on our social media for more info on this one. But I think it's gonna be such a
it's gonna be
activity.
amazing. Yeah, I can't wait.
And maybe we're gonna share Dennis's, and let's see if you can guess it or not.
Yeah, the good thing is, man, you can share it multiple times as well. You can kind of share your journey in the beginning, and then as you unlock more and more, like you might want to upgrade it and share it again. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a very fun thing, engagement beat.
Yeah, it's really fun. Again, use hashtag #huntprofile on social media and share your profiles with us and win something along the way.
Absolutely.
So now we talked about this cool new feature. Let's talk about some quality of life changes.
Yes.
Especially with the map, pings, and the compass. That is all seeing rework.
Yeah, so these are like 3 different systems that we've been focused on this update. Let's start with the map screen rework. You've seen a little bit already in some of the videos earlier. So in general, we kind of refresh the map visuals. So icons, how the boss target areas are being shaping up and revealed. So the overview on that screen is so much better. You also have an updated trait display, so it kind of sorts the traits even like in terms of last acquired, and even highlights the ones you found this mission. So it's a nice little overview. You kind of see which ones you got this round. And makes the whole thing a bit more meaningful. And specifically for those playing with controller, we also have like a tooltip support for that one. So if you view the trait details, you can use the trait button, and then you have the D-pad for navigation on the map screen, so you can kind of move around, and we automatically pop in the hints, giving you some information what this trait is about. This is especially interesting for new players who like might not really understand what trait they just got there, and then have a chance to kind of read it up, which before was a bit hard if you were on controller or played on console. And yeah, we also have the widget for tracking the challenges. You've seen it in the video before, where you can see both your story challenges and the weekly challenges. You can tap between them and catch your progress and see what you might still want to do this round.
Okay, so let's just take it actually from in-game, and let's talk about part starting with the map side of things.
Yeah, so like in the center, you see cleaner icons, smaller. You might also now maybe understand why we updated throughout the year over a few of those icons. I felt like, oh, why did I change that particular icon? well, I think some of that got clear also when we talked about the chariot tarot card and the lock, etc. And this is also part of it, like to conclude the sets, having like a nicer overview, having them less intrusive. It's a better overview in general, and the stuff doesn't get in the way as much as before. We reworked the objective part as well, so it's much clearer for you to understand the objectives you currently have. For example, that you're actually supposed to go to the circus if there is one of the bounties there. And you might already see this a little bit underneath the butcher on the top left, which is the current active target. You see this red line, and that's the color of the area. And if there were two of those bosses, we don't have a screenshot, but you can probably see that very easily then in the game. The second boss also has a line, but it might be a dotted line. So we don't need to superimpose the boss icons like with Roman numerals like we did in the past on top of the map, and then kind of like they change position all the time as the map shrinks, and they might always get in the way, and you don't understand what's beneath it, etc. We don't have to do it anymore. You just see from the border of that region who like it belongs to, which boss's territory this is, and just makes the navigation a lot easier. Yeah, this one we talked about already, so story challenges as well as the weekly transition, you can kind of toggle between those. The legend has been cleaned up a lot, so there's more items that kind of fit in there with the new icon style. Everything has been updated and nicer and more polished, so some really, really cool effort there from the UI guys to kind of like cleaning it up and making sure it's really, really nice to read.
And of course, we can see the traits part as well, where it highlights the new traits you found during the mission. This
is really cool as well. You can see like Shadow, apparently you picked up this mission, and it's kind of shown in there. So like if you don't remember, like did I get this time around? What's going on? Like just it's not the most important information, but it's still good information to have, and just makes navigating that map screen just even more rewarding because you can kind of get a quick overview easily.
Yeah, and last but not least, I think we didn't mention that you can actually see the game in the background now.
Yeah, which is also really cool. You don't run into trees all the time anymore. Well, you might still do, but like it just you have a bit more situational awareness while on the map screen. Obviously, the map is still the focus at that point, but you might understand a little bit better what's going on.
At least you see that you ran into a tree.
You might see that dynamite bundle like coming your way.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we talked about the map side of things, but why don't we talk about the brand new ping markers?
Yeah, so this is a complete rehaul and overhaul, rework, any combination of these two words that you can now benefit from. So what it does is that we looked at how are people using pings, and in the last iteration of this one, the version we've had so far, it was a bit limiting, right? You had like your alert ping, and then you had one ping that you can place, and you would always just override it and place it somewhere else. And there was a very, very few contextual information carried across with a ping. Like I think we had for a few ammo boxes, etc. There were like 7 or so things that you could kind of like directly ping, and you would understand what they are. And we've expanded all of that one. So it's a completely rework of the system. And an important piece was that you have basically 2 pings you can do at the same time. One is your regular ping, and then you can also have an object marker ping. So if you, for example, say I walk around that map, I'm gonna ping, let's go over to that forest, like ping at the forest. As we walk, I see a few seconds later an ammo box on the left side. I'm going to ping the ammo box. Now, my regular ping in the world still remains. I still know where to go, but I've additionally highlighted that contextual thing there as well. They also run on different timers. We're going to look at that in a second. So we try to adapt it a bit more to how people want to use the system from our playtesting, what we've learned about it. And you still obviously have the alert ping as well if you just double click. So in general, you see a lot more contextual pieces. I think we added like over 50. I think it says there like we went from 7 to 58 contextual marker points. So now like different animals you might be able to ping, cache registers, things, just whatever is meaningful. This is not only interesting for playing with randoms or people who don't use voice chat, for example, but also in general, like it gives you so much more overview and helps you to coordinate with your team. And so yeah, most of them auto remove when the object is gone, no longer relevant as well. So we try to make it as smart as possible. And you can also, if you want, if you just basically ping the same thing again, you can remove them manually as well. So like you no longer need to just like ping somewhere else, which maybe confuses people what you mean. Even if you just wanted to clear the space in front of you, you can actually now silently quickly remove them as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned the durations and the objects. So let's talk about them in a bit more detail. So yeah. What can we actually ping?
So yeah, again, like 58 pieces in total. There's everything which is kind of interactive in the world. You can expect now to have a ping of some sort, like this cash registers, different types of equipment. The traps very important, even the barrels, and with like sub-components. So like, is it a fire barrel? Is it an explosive barrel, etc. So you can learn a lot more. The different animal types, like so whether you're pinging ducks, whether you're pinging a horse, all of them have their own things, and then also like mission objective relevant pieces like clues, rifts, etc. as well. So the clue one is, for example, interesting if you might want to like warn someone about like the red clue, like, so watch out clue, and then they look at it and say, oh shit, it's red, another team nearby. Like, so it just helps you just coordinate it a little bit better. Also interesting piece here is the movement pings. So they work on the animals that might fly away or move away. So they kind of stay on them as they take off. However, it's also important to know that we intentionally do not have contextual pings for example, hunters, or we don't have it for monsters. So anything that can move around the world, etc. We intentionally don't have that because we want to avoid you kind of like just spamming the horizon and maybe getting lucky to figure out that hunter is actually dead in the bush, or like whether this is like a particular AI over there or whatever. Just it keeps the system clean. It's more about like objects and pieces you find in the world, not so much about enemies. So this was something we wanted to stay true to, and also the new system didn't expand into being able to ping those. So yeah, in general, it's a great system. It allows you to keep a better overview, and the durations for that one have been adjusted as well. So like by default, the ping remains for 15 seconds. If you manage to ping like a trap, because again, like playing with Benzo, you might want your teammates to be aware of the traps that either you placed and they run into consistently, or the ones at least you found that someone else placed and warn them before they run in. So they stay a little bit longer with 24 seconds. And then the danger ping is just the 2 seconds. So it's more of a fire and forget quick alert one.
Yeah, it's surely like the longer duration for the traps is great, because usually it was just pinged for me and I forgot it in like 2 seconds. Now at least I will know that it's there, so it's great. But why don't we take a look at some examples of this and some of the new icons in actions too?
So as you can see here, you see some flock of birds, so pinging there. We actually have a red color on those as well, or like in this case the dogs. So just gives you a chance to kind of like ping those and have them stand out a little bit more. In this case, this is like a barrel, different types. The health kits, obviously, we had before. Some of the ammo boxes we had before. Now, what's really cool is this is all a new system. So before, just a bit of a technical background, like we were mostly using particles to kind of like use and spawn the pings in the world, and they were also kind of impacted by the lighting or in the area, etc. They were kind of like affected by stuff. Now this is all working from the UI, so it gives us much more control. It's much cleaner, and we can do a lot more with the icon language and the details of the pings as well. So works in dark, works in bright, and is much more consistent. So again, that's why it's an entire rework of the entire system we had. And they should feel less intrusive, they should feel more reliable, and in general you have a lot more context now for pinging what is actually mattering for you.
And what interesting in the video, you could also see that the contextual ping as well as the location ping being separate.
At the same time there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's something to tie into it, because you already touched on it a bit, the compass and visibility improvements overall that really ties into the ping system too.
Yeah, so when we looked at the pings, we also said, like, you know, it would be really cool if the ping would also be available on the compass, so that you have a chance to kind of see what's going on there, maybe be more precise in what direction to look, etc. At least I struggle sometimes even finding the pings of my teammates in the world, especially in hectic situations, and being able to just like kind of default up to the top and see, oh, okay, well, it's a little bit on the left on the compass. For me, at least, is very helpful. So it has kind of the matching icon. So it's only one icon you need to learn. You kind of see when something's been pinged, and consequently we kind of move the compass a little bit lower, sort of like reworked some of the details around it, made it a bit nicer. So like these two features kind of like synergize quite nicely and don't fight each other. We also have like a bit of a changes on the way we calculate the transparency on ping markers in the world. Again, just to avoid them getting in the way when you ADS over it. So like, I mean, everybody remembers like, oh, can you please remove the ping? I can't see. Like that type of stuff is a bit easier now as they kind of fade out the closer you get to the crosshair. So yeah, in general, improved system, great system, but you need to try it out for yourself, obviously, which you can very soon. So looking out for your feedback from that one.
Yeah, sounds great. But let's talk about some other gameplay changes that we have in store, starting with some of our scarce weapons.
Yeah, so people have been asking about like, so what happens with the scarce weapons? And we've tried to be open and communicative about like, yeah, they're going to stay in the game. Just to repeat this again here for those who have kind of like missed that message, scarce weapons are remaining. What will change is how you can get more of them. So we don't take any of those away anymore. Like if you have homesteads, if you have wildlands en masse on your hunters, be happy because you can just continue using them whenever you want. The way we looked at them though is like we wanted to make sure that like balancing wise they are also not standing out too much. One balancing point, it's just a minor point, was the wildland, for example. So we increased the spread just a little bit. This was mostly to counter some of the levering being a bit too precise. So we want a bit more of the RNG in there so it doesn't become such an automatic hitter. It's still powerful. It's less the extra ammunition. It still is the better or the best Centennial in that regard. However, it is scarce, which means you can't buy it from the store. You will need to find it in the world, need to loot it off dead hunters, etc. So where can you find them now? We've now for this update chosen that we don't want to overburden this in the circus too much. So we have the watchtowers, and there's a small chance that one of those boxes spawns in there. You can unlock them for 3 pledge marks. So maybe makes sense to hold on to some of those, and gives you an opportunity to bring more of those weapons out of the mission and then use them later on. So in general, like it's a feature that's really, really cool and enriching. We don't want them to be too dominating, but also there should be a reward for exploration and like finding some of these weapons, which just give you like slightly the edge, just slightly better than what you can normally buy. Is I think a very interesting way for you to kind of like spend your time in the bayou.
So Dennis, do you still have your water around? Because
I need to sip from a water bottle.
Because what is that? Oh, it's the brand new status effect in game. So we have a brand new VAT status effect now.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. So this is maybe let's wind back a moment. So what we've had so far is that if you are burning as a hunter, if you walk into deep water, you would be able to kind of like stop the burn, right? Like just like you kind of extinguish yourself. It's faster than having to do the self-interaction, and just like it's a nice thing that has been in the game practically forever. In a similar way, the emulators, for example, have had a change like some years ago, where if they are also in this deep water, they wouldn't burst if you do damage to them. They looked exactly the same, right? Like with the emulator, but there was a tactic trying to lure them into water and then just like maybe stab them to death without them bursting in your face, which is normally what they do, unless you have blunt damage. So this is where we came from, and we wanted to kind of unify the system and add a bit more gameplay value to it. Obviously, there's this forever fight going on between igniting and extinguishing in this game. Like, how strong should fire be? How easy should it be to save my teammates? How easy or should it be to prevent losing bars? Or how punishing should it be? We've been trying different aspects of them out the various updates and tried different extremes. And I think so far in general, we're in a good position right now in the game. But the wet status effect that we're adding is kind of like a new layer. We want to try it on top of that one. So what does it do? Hunters become wet after being in deep water, when in heavy rain, or from water bottle splashes. So I'm going to talk about the water bottle in a moment. The idea is that you see a small little status effect on the bottom left, like when you're poisoned or you have a regeneration shot, and that only lasts for 15 seconds. Obviously, if you're standing in heavy rain, if you're standing in deep water, like it will never start going down. It will just stay at 15. But the moment you're no longer benefiting from that, it will start diminishing. So it just gives you a short-term wet status effect that has some pros and some cons to it. In general, burning starts slower. Like think of it like self-scan. It protects you a little bit better if you're wet. Like so maybe that hellfire bomb doesn't take away the full chunk, or the flare pistol shot doesn't take the full chunk, or general like you might be holding on to your boss a little bit more if you keep yourself in that wet state and kind of douse yourself a little bit of water once in a while. We also have like a synergy, obviously, with the self-skin traits, so they kind of like work together. It's not that we just have the effect of self-skin; you actually get both like multiplied on top of each other. So self-skin plus being in a wet state is obviously even faster way to recover. And one of the drawbacks is that your footsteps just a little bit more louder, like they're a bit more squishy, right? Like as you're drenched. So you might be maybe a little bit easier to track. So something to keep in mind. It's not the most severe or problematic issue, but it's just one of the things you have to consider in being in the wet state. And it also affects the monsters. So we talked about the emulator and what we had so far. And the emulator now actually conveys a proper, nice visual update. So you kind of see them almost like extinguished, like they're still smoking because they're still obviously having the fire inside them. But for the most part, they're a bit harmless now. And this is something we want to dial up a little bit more as well. So you want to get the emulators into this kind of wet down state as well, because it allows you to then benefit from their weakness. I think we see that as an example in the video.
Yeah, why don't we just take a look at the video and let's see how the wet status effect looks in the game.
As you can see here, like someone threw some water at me. I don't know how they managed to do
how.
that. And on the bottom left, you see the countdown going down. So being hit, for example, with a flare pistol, you don't lose the bar directly. In a similar way here, the emulator running into the water, you see he's kind of like in this wet state. He's like steaming. However, you can just easily kill him out. And that horse never saw anything. So in general, it gives you a chance to kind of play with the environment more to get AI, for example, the emulator here into this disadvantageous position, so you can benefit from it. So it might be a good surprise, like saying, like if you find some water source around, maybe before you run into that boss layer, maybe just put him in, because that alert troop mine obviously would also be less effective against you. So it's a nice little element, and you can choose to ignore it, you can choose to use it. It's just part of the sandbox now, and I think adds like a nice, interesting layer. What's also very important is that you recover your health chunks, like in terms of when they are partially burned, not when they're completely lost, but like if you just had some fire damage, for example, a lot faster with that. It's like the self-skin thing I mentioned in the beginning. So it might be a good strategy that after you burned yourself, that you just seek out some nice cold, like mountain stream, or like some nice water bottle, by the way. Drink. And then be able to benefit from the faster recovery. And there's going to be some more synergetic things around that one, which we'll talk further down the line here.
And yeah, I mean, you did talk about finding that water source, and it just became a bit easier. And I think we've been, we were very carefully teasing it, right? It was not obvious, but we do have a brand new world item that's showable.
I have no idea.
Water bottle.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No? So what it is, that is, what is the water bottle?
So the water bottle, I mean, it seems to be hyped up more than what it's worth, honestly. It's a nice little gimmicky thing alongside. That's basically what it comes down to. It's a new sandbox feature, so similar to the powder keg we introduced in the last update. The water bottle can be found in the world, and it basically gives you a chance to do counter effects to fire dynamically. You can use it on your burning teammate. You can maybe use it against the emulator. You can create paths when maybe there's some fire on the ground, etc., as you would normally do with choke bombs. The advantage of the fire bottle is that it doesn't create like a lasting choke cloud, so there's no coughing, etc. So it might also be something, maybe if you throw that at down teammate, and then right afterward, maybe your teammate also goes for the necro revive, that guy doesn't have to stand up necessarily, like choking his lungs out. So or coughing his lungs out. So in general, like it's a nice little subtle system added in the wider sandbox for you to utilize and kind of experiment with on. Like, again, in most of the situations, you might not find a water bottle when you actually need it. In a similar way, you don't find a choke beetle tree when you need it, or other items might not be there. That's just life in the bayou. But it is there as an option. If you pay attention to it, you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention that you can either find like one little water bottle or even like some crates which has multiple.
Yeah, think of it like that. Like a crate of water bottles was basically the fire extinguisher of the time, right? Like, so they literally had like water cans prepared in case of fires. And they were even like with warning colors, etc. So as you would normally see with a fire extinguisher in today's times. So you can either find individual bottles, or you can find this like a crate, a wooden crate with up to 6 of them in there. You can just bring them out from there. Important note is that you cannot hoard them. So for the moment, this is like the initial version that we wanted to go with. The moment you drop them, they shatter on the ground. The moment you've decided to pick one up, you need to make use of it in one way or another, because you can't just place it in a corner somewhere. So they're very opportunistic, very situational, but if you know where to find one, they can be quite the saver.
And of course, like, it can put out most fires, but not the oil fires.
Yeah, be careful around oil. Like, water and oil don't mix that well. Just as a small little warning.
Not too well, yeah. But what does it do to our cast of AI?
Yeah, so Similar to like, I don't know, like finding a lantern and throwing that at someone. Like obviously they do damage as well if you hit someone with it. So what you can do is with direct head hits, you can obviously dispatch a hive on the roof or kill some grunts, kill some hellhounds even. So you can also use it as a ranged weapon as an opportunity if you don't find like a throwing like a hammer or wood axe or whatever that you might like tossing on that roof against the hive. So it's just one more element in your toolbox to be using, and you can also do the melee attacks with it, and gives you like a chance to kind of dispatch off that one just charging grunt, just one strike. Don't even need to worry about picking up a knife, and it damages the hellborn obviously, and the emulator can even get killed by it. So maybe the differentiating thing here is that if you are only getting splash damage on the emulator, you put it into wet state, right? So it still is debuffed and it makes it easier for you to kill it. So if you just throw it right next to it as it runs at you, it might be already enough. However, if you hit it directly, that water isn't very healthy, so that guy goes down instantly and crumbles. It's very painful. You almost pity them a little bit when that happens, but it looks and sounds really cool. So yeah, it's a situational alternative choice to choke bombs when found on the wall. So if you're already run out of chokes, you might still get another chance of like extinguishing your teammate in the open. And obviously, bringing a pitcher, you might even benefit more from it.
All right, so why don't we just take a look at our water bottles in game as well?
It's the most exciting thing.
Let's
have a look at the water bottle.
There it goes.
You can see here, like nothing special about that one. You can use it to extinguish. In this case, like yeah, that poor emulator.
He didn't like the water too much.
Yeah, I like how he's like twitching on the ground. He really, really hates water. It's like almost like Kane. I expect Kane to have the same reaction. You can see the crate here, so you can pick him up. And keep in mind, oil fires, like oil spills, dangerous place. You might not get the effect that you're looking for. And this is a very interesting one. You might be able to like use that to deactivate lanterns. So like imagine coming across like a dock canal, and you just expect to be able to like shoot the lantern and get rid of them, or throw a knife or whatever if you want to be silent. And then someone has already been there, they deactivated lantern. Now you have to kill all the docks separately, or in general it makes it harder to kind of stop that. And maybe that's what they use to more easily understand that you might be approaching because you ran into it as well. So as part of our sandbox system, you can just do some really nice, interesting things. Some of it is a bit niche, admittedly, but it's a nice little addition. I think you guys appreciate that.
Yeah, unfortunately, no more fried chicken.
No more fried chicken.
It's not. We are watering them, so maybe they lay more eggs. But that was it for the water. But also, why don't we look at some other gameplay changes we have in an update, more general ones?
Yeah, let's have a look at that. So, yeah, this one ties in nice. It's a nice segue actually into this one as well. So, the feedback that we've observed and also had in our internal playtesting sessions is that both the recovery shot and the relentless trade, they felt a bit too powerful mid-combat, right? You get the immediate effect of them restoring the bar, and the only thing you need is either just wait a moment for your regeneration shot to then do the work, or maybe do a quick top-up. But in any ways, you were basically back in the fight with full health very quickly. Now, as part of this sandbox change around the charcoaling and the wet state and being able to kind of get rid of your charcoaling a little bit faster, we changed those two to also start with a charcoaling effect. So you get your bar back, but that bar is mostly kind of charcoaled, and you need to wait your normal usual time for it to be fully healed up. The good thing is you can now use these other mechanics we talked about previously here to kind of speed up that process. Like, so quickly make a run for the river on the side there, and maybe you're back good within like 5 or 10 seconds. Or yeah, you find a water bottle, just quickly throw it at your feet, and you're good very quickly too. Down to the sandbox. The important piece, however, is that they are powerful, but they're less influential now mid of a fight, so that like it actually matters more if you've downed someone, and you get more reliable like those like direct downs again if they try to run away, etc. So it makes the fighting a little bit less random, because you might not know whether they had quickly already the chance to put in the shot, or might have already had relentless and never even lost the bar like to begin with, and then stood up with resilience in combination with 150 points right away. So yeah. That's the first point. Then we also added the interaction hints for all of the traits and event exclusive weapons. So this is something that you might remember a little bit from like the stuff from the last event, like with the tarot cards. If you press the inspect, you kind of like see like the description pop up on the top right side. So how this works for traits is that if you see a trait, for example, you've just killed a meathead, that meathead dropped the trait, you look at it, there is a small little hint now popping up directly there. So for someone new, for example, who doesn't know all the traits yet, you can instantly see what is this thing actually doing, or like for new traits that you might find, like for example from an event, etc. It might make it a bit easier for you to learn what's new, etc. So this is like a bit of an onboarding thing as well. Kind of helps new players to learn ropes. And we did the same thing, obviously, for event exclusive weapons. So the shredder, in the same way, if you pick it up, kind of explains a little bit what this weapon is all about and how you use it. We also have one change. It's more of a quality of life change as well, but there's obviously a balancing part to that as well. And burnt traits can no longer stack. So this was a bit of a legacy piece we had from our first events, where we kind of had this idea of burnt traits and we kind of ran with it, but now is the time to clean house and kind of do this properly. So we refactored them a little bit and they can no longer stack. So you can only ever have one instance of the 3 Rs, like Relentless, Remedy, Rampage, all the other ones as well that could stack. You can only have one of them at a time. If it's used up, you can obviously try to get a new one, but you don't have like multiple instances anymore of those in there, and just makes the overview a bit nicer. And I think it's also overall a bit of a fairer experience. And then lastly, there's something where we've mentioned this already in the last time when we did that change, that is a bit of an experiment. We're looking at it, and you guys have been very clear with your feedback on it as well, that you didn't like it. So we're walking that one back. The beetles are back for how they were operating before the last update. So you will still be able to find at the beetle trees 2 interactions, one with a guaranteed choke beetle, and the other one gives you randomly either a fire or a stalker beetle. So they're back to what they were before. You can find them more frequently and more reliably again in the world.
Yeah, so that was our general gameplay changes, but we do have some other changes in the update as well. So let's talk about the Reach Presence integration.
Yeah, this is a nice quality of life change as well. So if you're using Discord, if you're using Steam, you now can opt in for Rich Presence. So it kind of shows you like party information, like whether you're in the lobby and the mission, like who you play with, etc. So it's a bit of a standard like for many games these days. So if you want to use that, you can opt in, and it just makes the OV a bit nicer. Maybe leads also to you finding some more sessions. There's some friends already currently in the lobby, and you quickly jump in and ask if you maybe can be their third. So I think it's a nice, really, really cool quality of life change. Nothing more to say about it. Yeah. Use it.
Definitely. And of course, onboarding has been really important to us lately.
Yes,
so we do have some changes in that regard as well.
So for new players, we try to keep on improving on that area as well. Make sure that like new players have an easy time of getting into the game. So one of the new components we've been adding is a reduced PvE pressure in the early ranks. So as you know, a new player, they have a trainee mode, which is the first 10 ranks, where, for example, they can't lose the hunters. This is also where they will not encounter any other human players, and will only have the bot matches. So during those early ranks, we also just in general like went and reduced the amount of monsters they come across. So we just kind of gradually build up, like maybe not having meatheads in the first match, maybe not having emulators or concertina armors in the first match, and then step by step introducing them as you play your first couple of rounds, so it's not as overwhelming from the get-go. We also have a way to kind of explore new mechanics a little bit easier that way. And if you go to the next one, we have a companion piece of this one, which is the hunter bot difficulty that scales in a similar way as well, where we basically start very easy. You still want to be proud of your first kill, of course, so they're not going to be super cheap, but they're a bit more forgiving in the first 1 or 2 matches or so, and then they kind of build up and give you more of a challenge. So in general, like that scales up based on the levels that the player have as they go through the onboarding, and just makes the whole thing a bit easier to learn different combat beats, etc. In general, however, the hunter bots are still only remaining available until Bloodline rank 10. So only an onboarding feature, not meant to be a feature for everybody, because they're kind of limited in their capabilities, but they're still a very good way for teaching you players in a safer way the ropes.
All right, sounds great. So let's talk about some bug fixes that happened in this update, because we have over 100 in here.
Yeah, I think we picked up a couple of highlights. So just in general, obviously, there's a number of over performance improvements, and crash fix bugs have been fixed, and just quality of life as you would expect. But there's a few of them we want to single out just as a highlight for you guys of what we've been working on. So we fixed one issue where the game mode selection did reset after every mission. It was kind of annoying for those of you who kind of enjoy warming up maybe in Bounty Clash or so, and then moving between the modes maybe as you play, and always having to kind of reselect this one. So this one saves now the setting you have, and you just continue. It's really just a quality of life change, but I think you guys were rightfully frustrated by that not working as intended. We also fixed visual issues around, for example, example, the cloth on some of the monsters that were kind of appearing black and like took you out of the immersion quite easily. So it was just like a visual glitch that we introduced in 2.5 that we're cleaning out now. And most importantly, we fixed the issues around dev cheat, where sometimes you were super happy to having found dev cheat and then it didn't work. So now that part has been adjusted. The bugs have been fixed around it. So if you find dev cheat, you should have a very reliable experience again and can count on then having a second chance.
And of course, as Dennis mentioned, we only just highlighted a few here because we have over 100. So please, as always, make sure to check out our patch notes when they are live, where you can read about all the bug fixes or most of the bug fixes, the important ones in the update. So please check that out. You can find a lot there. And with that, we are at the end of the update itself, but we do have some updates for the community as
Yes.
well. So let's talk about, first of all, the Twitch Drops campaign. So the Twitch Drop campaign is coming on December 12th, which is like one day after the launch of the event, and it will start at 3 p.m. UTC. So please transfer it to your local time, but it is the usual time when we always start our Twitch Drops campaigns, and it stops or ends on December 24th, so right before Christmas Eve in Europe. So yeah.
Yeah, just for those in Europe where the 24th is obviously very important, just so in time that you don't get in trouble with your family.
Yeah, exactly.
If you still need to catch up at that time, maybe getting last rewards on it.
Yeah. And we are featuring a brand new system for this Twitch Drop. So it's basically a brand new format for us, where we included a support a streamer campaign for 2 of the rewards. This is the part where we want to give back to the community and all the streamers, all the partners that have been supporting us all along. So we do have 2 rewards that are tied to support a streamer campaign. We do have a hunt badge that you can unlock and hunter that you unlock through this system as well. So how it exactly works is that you have to subscribe to a channel either for 1 month, multiple ones, or even across multiple channels, and it will all count. I want to mention that Amazon Prime subscriptions don't work for this, so that's a important caveat. And this way you can give back to our amazing streamers and unlock some cool rewards. Please let us know how you feel about this. Of course, it's again a brand new thing for us, but I think it is very nice. And again, all these streamers have been supporting us for so long. It is a way for us to also give back to them. Other than that, we have 9 rewards that you can earn just by watching. So we will have a table in a second. It includes a lot of like random legendary rewards, random charms, even random hunters that you are used to. And with every unlock, you also get a supply crate unlocked as a secondary reward. So that means you will have basically 9 rewards plus the 9 supply crates all along. So yeah, it's the fan favorites like the random hunters, etc. So let's take a look here at the little table we have, where you can see that you get the Hunt Crosses Twitch badge for the 1 sub and the Hat Taker Hunter for the 2 subscriptions. And below that, you can see that all the other rewards are tied to watch time. So in total, in the period of the Twitch Drops, you have to watch for this long to unlock all these rewards, like random charms, random legendary skins. We also have some weapon skins that you can unlock through this, as well as the random legendary hunter. And yeah, let's take a look at the Hat Taker, who is of course super cool.
So cool, love that guy.
Yeah, and currently you can unlock this through this support a partner campaign. It will never be sold within the game, but we may bring it back for future Twitch Drops campaign as well. So this is not your last chance to unlock him, but it is a very good time to get him because he's really cool.
Yeah, I think like the partners and streamers, they really appreciate if you support them that way.
Yeah, and we do have the random slate right skins. So yeah, there may have been some confusion about this. We currently have 3 variants of this that you can unlock through the Twitch Drops, and you will get 1 random one out of those 3. We already had one in the Bloodborne store for a while, so of course you cannot get that through the Twitch Drops, but in game. So we have a random one of this, and it's somewhat a similar story with the Death Caroler skins as well. You can unlock 1 of the 2 randomly out of this.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot of information regarding our Twitch Drops. If you go to huntshowdown.com/Twitch Drops, we have a whole FAQ section that exactly lists how these unlock works, how you get the hunters. It even breaks down which random skins you can unlock through this. So I know we always get the questions which hunters are returning. So of course, if you don't have some of the Twitch drops hunters yet, you can unlock those. But also fan favorites like the Union suit is returning.
It's really cool. We have some of those now return as well. So if you missed out before, you can get them. And when it comes to those random like picks from those families, I think it's also about just like completing the set step by step, right? Like, so you might have an opportunity to get one of them now, and then maybe in the future you also have the chance to get the remaining one. So think of it as like kind of building up that set.
Yeah, exactly. As I mentioned with the head taker as well, they may return in future Twitch drops campaigns as well. So don't worry, you are not forever missing out on something. It's just something we're experimenting with, and I think it is a really cool campaign. And again, I really look forward to your feedback regarding this. But that's not the only thing that's new. We have a big release actually today. It already happened. So our in-house band, Port Sulphur Band's fourth album called Shadow's Wake is out today digitally. So you can already go on your favorite streaming platforms and listen to it. And it's quite amazing. I believe in the intro segment we had for the stream, we already seen some people dancing in the chat along to the new event song. So it is out now. Please listen to the brand new album. And as I mentioned, you can find it on all your favorite streaming platforms. But as an addition, we have a vinyl releasing on December 12th, which you can buy from multiple sources depending on where you are or which one you prefer. So I think this is really cool.
This Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And Port Sulphur Band is everyone's favorite. I was coming in the Port Sulphur Band shirt today as well, so we are really proud of it. And please listen to it and stream it. And here you can actually see the album as well, looking cool as ever.
Yeah, and also sounding awesome as ours.
As always. I also had some small reminders for everyone in chat. First of all, I hope you already marked your calendar in the beginning of the stream, but on December 19th, we do have Post Malone streaming the game with some surprise guests.
During Twitch drops.
During Twitch drops, very important. So you can actually get the Twitch drops as well, and it is gonna be amazing, and we are actually super excited. I cannot wait to tell you more about it, but for now, this is all I can say, but keep an eye on our socials for all the information regarding this. Another thing is that our behind the scenes video released today. So I hope you can see some links in the chat soon about this. Please watch this. It's behind the scenes for this.
It's really cool. Like we interviewed lots of people like from the team. Kind of they shared a little bit about like their experience working on the new Murder Circus Encore and all the love that they poured into this one. So very, very awesome for the team also to have a chance to kind of have a voice in this.
Exactly. And before we jump into our Q&A segment, I also wanted to mention again the Hunt profile hashtag. When you are playing the event from tomorrow on, please, if you have a cool profile you want to share, please use the hashtag Hunt profile on socials and win some cool rewards in the event. And last but not least in this segment is after this stream and the Q&A segment is over, we will have some of our partners playing the new event already.
Oh, yeah. So a bit of an early access on this one. We did this last time as well. So right after we're done here, you can tune in with your favorites and see the Murder Circus Encore live. Already get a teaser, get hyped up for the race tomorrow, and enjoy how they get murdered by Ursa Mortis.
Yeah, and now before we jump into the Q&A segment, I think Dennis had some small
we talked about like the battle pass rewards earlier. We talked about the different cosmetics and also some of the animations we have, but there's also like one animation just quickly want to highlight. It's not part of the battle pass. You can just buy that for some blood bonds, but we wanted to show you that one as a nice goodbye.
So let's see.
So I mean, it's getting colder outside, so maybe sometimes you just want to warm yourself a little bit at a nice campfire.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, but of course we still have a Q&A segment. Our lovely moderators and community managers have been collecting the questions for us.
Yes.
So Dennis, I already have a lot here, so let me ask
Just
you.
throw them in.
Are water bottles only in the circus compound?
No, the water bottles are their new feature that is to be found all across the map. So obviously you can also find some of them in the Murder Circus, but you will find them just as a general addition, like the powder kegs. Yeah, so it might be very, very useful for you, like if you're expecting a fighter, so just memorize a little bit where you might have seen a bottle or even a crate of them, because they might come in quite handy.
Okay, so a question about the player profiles. So, what do they add for players exactly? Like, what it is again? Can we recap?
All right, so the player profile customization is a way for you to express yourself in the game. Like, so you get a player card in a way that can kind of be used to show like what defines you as a hunter. So you can pick a background, you can pick certain badges that are important for you, like for example the progress you've made with a particular weapon or playstyle. You have titles in there, and they kind of use that to kind of show off like who are you as a hunt player, which is super useful, obviously, for kind of encountering that as you match with random teammates or with your friends. You kind of see them as you load in a mission as well, and you can also like blend them in. For example, when you're on the death screen, kind of see like who was that guy actually, and is he actually usually that good? Oh yeah, well he has like level 10 on the sniper rifle, so probably he's a good sniper. So. A way for you to express yourself and kind of customize the different aspects of the game to really show off who you are.
Yeah, I guess you already answered a bit of the next question, which was like, how do you exactly unlock these?
So yeah, most of them are progress gated. So you need to do stuff in the world, in the game, and then you get these rewards and these stats. However, some of those are also maybe tied into certain story challenges or events, battle passes. Some of them are just cosmetic. You can just buy them with blood bonds, etc. So there's different ways for you to get them, but the vast majority of those is based on the progression you do.
Okay, so going back to the water bottle somewhat, how do you exactly, or what are the ways to get the wet status effect right now?
Okay, yeah, so the wet status effect can be achieved in 3 ways. So either you can find a water bottle and you throw it to your feet or at your friend or whoever else that you want to get doused with that, or you stand in the heavy rain, or you go into deep water. So like when the water splashes up really loud, like as you can afford through a river, for example. Not just from the shoreline, but just like you have to go a little bit further in. So whenever any of those 3 things happens, that status effect is given to you, and it lasts for 15 seconds, the moment you're no longer exposed to that. So obviously if you keep on staying in the rain, you continue to being wet. Surprise. And then you have these 15 seconds where during that time, your footsteps are kind of soaky a little bit, like so you might be hurt a little bit easier, but also it has benefits to you. For example, you kind of heal your burnt charcoals bars back a little bit easier, like unless they're obviously completely lost, that doesn't restore that. You need a recovery shot for this or a banish. And also prevents you from losing, for example, a bar from a direct hit from a flare pistol or alert trip mines, etc. So it just reduces it, as would be the case if you have the stealth skin trait.
So back to the profile customization, kind of. What stats carry over and what don't? Exactly.
I don't have the full list right now, but for example, like something like Prestige, some of the older stats we have, or I think even Monsters Killed, etc., they're carrying over. But all of the progress that we have for specific weapons, for example, they kind of start from have like a fresh start from 0, which kind of levels the playing field a little bit as well. So everybody starts at the same time. So it would be interesting, for example, if you that after this one watch some of the streamers play, they obviously probably have very low stats in there, so you can kind of see how they progress over the next hours with some of their badges as they play.
I guess the next question came earlier during the stream because we actually talked about it, but that sheet was not working properly all the time. So
it is now again.
It is now working. So the bug with that sheet has been fixed in this update. Some people asked that join later, like what's different about the shredder? Exactly.
So the shredder has been revisioned a little bit, like and reinvented. So this made a better word. Before it was very spammy. It was very overpowered, at least perceived overpowered by many. It was very, very much like hard to kind of counter with the proximity frag blades that kind of blow up right next to you or around corners. The homing was problematic, like so you can kind of like shoot it around the corner, would kind of curve in onto the hunter because of the edged runes on it. So everything was very easy to do damage with. It was a very powerful weapon. We wanted to reduce some of that, take away some of that spam, take away some of that frustration, still make it a bit more of a skill-based weapon. It's still very powerful, like those soul blades, they cut right through again. However, in a more balanced way and easier to counter. So as you would expect, an important piece is also that the Shredder is going to stay. It is a world scarce weapon, so you can only find it in the world, and maybe there will not be Shredder sources for some time. Maybe then they come back again. This is the interesting part about the scarce elements in general. Like, you don't know when you get the next one, so you want to be careful when you want to use them. Obviously, during the Murder Circus Encore event, you can reliably get Shredders from the circus, so at the moment, be happy and use as many as you want. But after the event has ended, maybe there's going to be a bit of a Shredder drought for a moment, until at one point we introduce them again, and then you can get more instances. So it's very interesting for us as a new way to experiment with very powerful weapons, but also weapons that you might not always have access to.
Tied to the circus, is the fortune teller machine and the balloons returning?
Yes, both of them are there. So the balloons basically give you an event point whenever you pop them. You find them at supply points, you find them in some of the compounds, but obviously there's quite a bunch of them directly at the circus, at the shooting gallery. You can always like jump against the wall there and try to pop them all in a quick sequence and pretend you're an aftermath. Get those, I think, 15 or 10 points or so, that how many balloons there are. That way, it's a nice way for you to kind of top up your event points and maybe get across the 25 threshold for the next pledge mark. That stuff is all back.
Yeah, so is this the final version of the player profile customization, or are we adding more stuff in the future?
This is the start of the player profile customization. So this is a new feature for us, and we have like 300 pieces already now in the launch. But as I mentioned before, like we might not, for example, have a background image, like an avatar for every single legendary hunter out there. But the plan is to obviously have that down the line. So we're going to add more and more and more, kind of fill it up. And obviously there's going to be new cool things that we want to use there, different frames, different titles, badges. If you introduce new gameplay beats, you might be able to kind of get a badge to kind of show you how you interacted with that. So it's a growing, ongoing thing. And this is just the start of the player profile customization.
That's awesome. Yeah, of course, some questions about Twitch drops. So is it behind a paywall now? So first of all, we wanted to try out new things and try a new system. And as I mentioned, we wanted to give back something to our community and to our streamers that have been supporting us for so many years now, 7. So this is something new we tried out, but of course we wanted to make sure to also make it accessible to everyone that may not be interested in that. So you can still earn 9 rewards plus all the supply crates along. So
think of it like 2 different systems. We have the Twitch drop, which is like, hey, you just watch your favorite streamer and you unlock the cool things that we have, and 9 of those exclusive rewards plus the supply crates you get alongside. And alongside that, we also have the reward streamer campaign, which has different rewards. And if you want to support a streamer, you can get those rewards that way, and show your appreciation to the streamers you like.
So we've seen in the chat that a lot of people already had ideas for player stats or badges and avatars. Please let us know. We always listen to your feedback and to try to read your comments everywhere. So just send it to us on Discord. We usually have an ideas room in there. You can even just comment on social media, make a Reddit post. We are actively monitoring these, and we are interested in what you also want to see. And there was another question about the player profile. So the skill-based unlock that are tied to skills, can these be purchased?
No. So skill-based unlocks are skill-based unlocks. So you need to play with a certain weapon. It's in the same for example, weapon variants, right? Like, you need to play with a weapon in order to unlock the variants for them. It's the same thing here. If you want to like stat track something, then you need to do the work. Like, so you can't buy like I am doing like a 300-meter headshot. The stat itself, some of them you might want to purchase, but not the weapon ones. However, the tracking is completely based on your skill.
So we recap the Shredder. So we also seen some confusion about the Ursa Mortis and what exactly is new. So could you just recap that for us? Yeah.
So Ursa Mortis is the 2-headed bear monstrosity. This the monstrous circus act that has gone wild there. What has changed primarily is like a little bit of a boost on its general, the toughness and the strength. So it does a bit more damage. It takes a bit less damage against some of the weak spots. Some of the strategies you've had before, like how you use bear traps or things, maybe don't work as effective anymore. For example, you can't knock back Ursa Mortis now from explosives. And also it has a new ability, which is like it can barge through the outer tent walls of the circus. So what that does is not only creates a challenge for how to fight it, because you might not be able to escape as quickly around it and just like circle around. It might just just cut through right the fence there to get you still. It also means that it's a lasting effect. So whatever fights you might have at that location afterwards, depending on how much of a rampage you allowed Ursa Mortis to go through, it affects and reshapes the circus compound and how many entrances and exits are available for teams or for yourself to fight around.
And the last two questions that I have collected here. First of all, what is the High Striker booth again, and what do you get from doing it?
So the High Striker is a new circus attraction. I mean, as you might have remembered, like we had a few circus attractions before. We had the fortune teller machine that gives you some of the random rewards, like there can be a trade, can be a good status effect. We also had these other booths where you, for example, you could pop the balloons with the shooting range, etc., and just get event points from the balloons. The High Striker is a new one, which is a test of strength. So you might see that from any circus attraction or any time you've been at a local affair. You smash on it, the melee damage does damage. Based on the damage it does, it escalates like the puck upwards, and the stronger you are, the more of an effect it has, and also the higher the payout you get. So there's a budget of 40 event points you can get if you maximize it, if you ring the bell at the very top. And every time you try it, like it only ever tries to beat the last high score. So if you've already done, let's say, a rifle buttstock attack against a heavy one, well, you've collected maybe a fraction of those 40 points, let's say 5 or 6 points. I don't know the exact number right now, top of my head. And if you do it again, it will tell you, oh, you have not beat your high score. But if you then find a different, maybe a stronger weapon, maybe you find a bear trap and try to melee damage with a bear trap against it, maybe you get a couple more points because it escalates a little bit higher up. So it's down to you to kind of figure out what's the best strategy to combine it with trades, with certain weapons, etc., maybe to get a maximum of the effect out of it. However, if there are multiple high strikers in the mission, it only ever tracks one high score. So it doesn't matter where you beat your high score, but you cannot have multiple ones at the same time. So if you already max it out at the circus and you find another one that maybe at a supply point randomly, well, you've already got the maximum out of it this round.
Yeah, and the last question was again about the shredder and the explosive bolts.
Yeah.
We touched on it a bit, but just to remind people.
No frag blades anymore. So the shredder can no longer swap between different ammo types. We've completely removed the frag blades. For those who don't know, like there was a second ammo type that was a proximity explosion. So you only need to be close to a hunter for it to already burst, and you get like this air burst effects from it. It was really, really powerful, and some people rightfully said like this is really, really frustrating to fight. So we removed them completely. The shredder is just about the saw blades now, the basic ammunition it has, and that is still very much enough because they are very, very lethal.
So Dennis, I think with that, we arrived to the end of the stream. Just to remind everyone, after this stream, check out our partners that are jumping into everything we've just talked about.
Yes.
So that's going to be
Early access.
Hell yeah. And we want to wish you all very happy holidays if we don't see each other this year. And hope you're going to enjoy the event from tomorrow on.
Yeah, this will be fun. And then Twitch drops from Friday.
From Friday, exactly. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Dennis. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for everyone helping us set up the stream as well. Shout out to Jeremy, Jonas for audio. You guys did a great work. And with that, we wish you very happy holidays.
Yeah.
And see you soon.
See you in the circus and see you in the bayou. Bye-bye.
Soil anchors bay, roots the forest veins, ruthless retribution, lock the garden gate. I say